Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice.
Yeah, you in a queue? Oh. Hello guys and welcome to the Rival South Asia Championship. We are in game 2 of the battle of the first seeds. This is just gonna keep getting better for us. On the blue side we have Lowkey Esports SL from the Ocean Clan, and on the red side we have the favorite clan Mountain, which Stormraiders playing their first game of their tournament. Joined with me today is my wonderful co-caster Red Bro. What's up, Red? Are you excited for this match?
Well, definitely I am, since we are in for a very, very exciting game. It looks like from the sound of the teams and everything. So, let's get into the picks and let's get into the bands, Vishy. What are your thoughts on them?
Yeah, I feel everything will be target banned because both these teams have certain players who play certain champions to the T, and that's exactly what you're seeing happening. The Vladimir is a ban against LK Ash. By far, in my opinion, the best player Lowkey Esports have, and probably the best in the region. I would say might be a bit of a stretch, but I still believe in that player's capabilities. Having that ban out, and also the Mordecai is a ban against the Zhao Raven in the top lane, and these are all focus bans. They definitely do not want these sort of champions with a lot of damage potential to be on the board. So having that banned out, and so going to the Caitlyn first pick coming out right there for Nightmare. Nightmare has also been a great carry performer for Lowkey Esports. So the fact that they've gotten that in the first pick means they really, really wanted to prioritize her.
Right, and it looks like from picking your AD carry, they really want to like keep their mid and top laner and their jungler in their pockets before they actually reveal that. They actually want that sort of reveal from Storm Raiders before they actually commit into picking those champions.
Yeah, and I want to see what they respond back with. It's going to be a Rice pickup. Whoa, that's a really fast Rice pickup. And it's going to be a Morgana. So definitely to prevent the Caitlyn Morgana bot lane, which would be quite lethal to play against. And also Morgana does remove the engageability on the side of Lowkey Esports, who love drafting a lot of engaged champions. So a really smart pickup right there and a takeaway. So Caitlyn Morgana lane will not happen. We'll have to see what Lowkey ends up responding with. It's going to be the Tarek, the special from Sri Lanka.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah, it's a special pick from Sri Lanka. They love playing their Tareks, and again, they have picked it into a Caitlyn Morgana. A Caitlyn Tarek lane seems a little. Not really sure how the synergy works, but they have what they have. So, what do you think about the drafting so far coming out from Loki Esports? Oh, the Mazahar.
outrageous, to be very honest, because the Tarek has that specific line where he says that gems are truly, truly outrageous, right? So,
Oh yeah.
looking at Rise, the first pick on the Rise, I think it's a really good pick in terms of picking up a powerful champion, because Rise, if you let him get to the late game, he can basically just 1v9 the entire game, provided he doesn't get countered in the top lane and doesn't get smashed early on. If you let him transition to that late game, he's going to be an unstoppable beast. And Misfortune being picked up in the bottom lane, looks like they're going for a very aggressive setup against the Caitlyn and Tarek.
Yeah, and just where did this Misfortune come from? I haven't seen Stormraiders play Misfortune ever, and in general it's not an AD carry you see a lot in competitive, Red Bro. So the fact that a Misfortune has been picked up is quite surprising. And what do you feel now that the bot lanes have been are in front of us? A Morgana Misfortune bot lane, does it have a lot of poke damage, or what's the idea behind this sort of a pickup? Because it certainly seems to bamboozle me quite a bit to see where and how this Misfortune will be played out.
Well, if you were playing against a short range AD carry, I get the fact that you'd want to zone that person out, like a Zaya or Kaisa. Like, yeah, sure, you want to zone them out so that they don't get CS, but a Caitlyn can just farm really safely and provide, and the protection that Tarek actually provides her. I'm not really sure as to how that lane's going to work out, but I have faith in in the Mountain Dragon clan's team. So let's see where it goes.
Yeah, and this is going to be again textbook. One of A-Slot's best champions, and Zhao have been banned out. Zhao River loves to play that on, but so does Key to Victory. So that's going to be a ban against the fact that they do not want to play against it on. And Akali ban very smartly again coming out against Key to Victory to realizing they do not want him to play the Akali, but he does leave a lot of potential in the top lane to be able to play these champions. The Ryze could potentially be going mid. The Malzahar is also very, very strong. And is that going to be a Karthus jungle, Red Bro? It is going to be a Karthus jungle pickup right there coming out. That's why the Zinza was banned. Do not want to play against it early, and Karthus can do a lot of damage. And it's a very surprising because you don't see a lot of Karthus jungle in the meta, but he is quite strong he has a great clear which allows him to outlevel his enemy jungle by a mile. So that's a interesting pickup coming out right there.
Yeah, with the new jungle changes, I guess Karthus makes sense. But however, as you said, the reason for banning the Xin Zhao is that they don't want to play against a aggressive jungler. However, Lee Sin is still in contention. So if actually, Lowkey want to pick up Lee Sin, they can actually do that and try to zone Karthus out from the jungle, because, if Karthus doesn't really get that early game farm, there's no way of getting him back into the game, because he really needs to be out CSing, out leveling the enemy jungler. That's what he does best. He's a control jungler who relies on that map pressure through his ultimates. So, but it looks like Karthus is going to have a pretty safe time in the jungle, because we do see a Sejuani being picked up.
Look at the amount of protection coming in. The Tarek has his ultimate, the Shen has his ultimate, Nightmare on that Caitlyn is going to be protected, and how in this game it feels like as if really, really wanting to focus on that. And is that going to be the Z pickup? No, it's not. Is that going to be the Kled pickup? Yes, and in fact it is. They want to jump in on the face of Lowkey Esports, it looks like. And the Shen is not a bad matchup at all for the Kled, honestly. The Kled has a decent time in that lane. So that does round off Stormraiders composition. Some new pickups coming from them. We haven't really seen the Misfortune or the Kled pickup, but now that both the compositions have been picked, right? But what are your thoughts on the strengths of both the teams and what they kind of want to do in these team fights?
Well, first of all, if I'm going to address Lowkey Esports, I think a lot of their damage is going to come from the Caitlyn because Malzahar has that single target snare, but the Caitlyn will be most of their damage dealing while the others just play like the meat shield role, right? While whereas if you look at Stormraiders, they have a lot of damage and decent CC across the board. You have Morgana's stun and her snare. Combine that with Kled's hook and Ryze's snare. However, it's not that much in terms of hard CC that Lowkey actually have, but in terms of damage, Storm Raiders, I think they have a better skirmishing combo if they can actually land their damage and they don't get picked off by any of the CC that Lowkey actually is sporting right now. So it'll be interesting to see how Sejuani actually wrestles control away from the bot side jungle from the Karthus. As you know, if there's a 3v3 or a 2v2 going on, the Sejuani is going to come out on top because of that stronger presence compared to the Karthus. So
True.
yeah,
And I feel at this point in time, the Misfortune Ultimate is basically going to be used after Morgana lands a binding. And if I feel if the binding does land, the Morgana Misfortune Ultimate would literally kill someone. And a lot of AoE damage. This is how you sort of counter or do a lot of damage. You have Karthus doing AoE, you have Rise doing AoE, you have Misfortune doing AoE. So,
right.
and whereas on the other side, like Malzahar, yes, he has his Q, but mostly Malfiltration, single focus. Caitlyn as well, going to just be auto targeting one person at a given time. So they will look to whittle it down one by one, whereas on the other side, there's a lot of team fight skirmish advantage, like you rightly said, on Storm Raiders, and it depends a lot on execution. Uh,
Right.
I feel the Rise also against us, Shen is just a free lane for him to be a scaling monster. And what do you feel about late game? When this game goes to a later game, do you feel as if Storm Raiders have a very big advantage because of the Rise and the Karthus, or do you feel Lowkey Esports have what it takes to come back? But I feel as if the advantage definitely is big.
I think in the late game, Storm Raiders are going to have some problems actually. I'm assuming that the teams will go neck and neck in the late game, which doesn't really happen nowadays because of how snowbally the game is. But let's say that the best case scenario opens up and we have a really close game, right? Both teams go into late game with equal levels of power. Storm Raiders are actually going to have a really tough time taking out members of Lowkey Esports because you see the amount of tankiness you get from Shen, you get from Sejuani, and that invulnerability ult from Taric as well. But in contrast to that, they have a lot of damage. It's just that they need to actually, stay and engage us longer because you know how Karthus actually ramps up his damage as long because the longer he stays in the fight, the more damage he deals. If there's are like short burst engages, I feel like Lowkey can actually bring up more of an advantage in comparison to Storm Raiders. So yeah, we're gonna have to see how those late game team fights actually pan out if they're gonna actually go for catching someone out in a bad position or actually go head on with a 5v5.
True, true, true. And at this point, it just looks like execution matters a lot. There's a lot of CC QSSs are going to be mandatory, I feel, on the side of Storm Raiders with the Malzahar and the Shen and the Sejuani. There's so much CC coming out right there. I feel, yes, the Morgana can look to save a few people, but probably will be good to have your own QSS just in case you randomly get Malzahar altered out of the blue. So 10-15 seconds to go, man. I'm so excited. This is the first showing by both these teams. A lot is on the line, Pride being one of them. And we'll have to wait and see if Ocean Clan, they are at the bottom of the standings right now. They need a couple of wins to try to move up ahead. And let's see if they have what it takes to get there. Meanwhile, Mountain Clan will just look to continue their dominance. Their second and third seed teams did a great job remaining unbeaten thus far. And will Storm Raiders continue that or not is something we'll have to see. Remember, guys, this is the rival South Asian Championship powered by LG UltraGear, Zotac, and Act Fibernet. We are in game 2 between Lowkey Esports from the Ocean Clan and Storm Raiders from the Mountain Clan. Both are seed 1 teams playing. As we head into the loading screen, a lot of cool skins coming out from both the teams. And wow, we almost have like a 10 on 10 skins, except Sejuani and both the junglers opt to not go for skins, it looks like. It's gonna be really fun. What do you feel about the early game as well? Do you feel any particular lane will have a massive advantage, or
I
where do you
think
see the junglers end up ranking here and there?
Yeah, I think that, in terms of ganking and everything, I think the Rise would probably have to play safe against the Sejuani because he might try to actually get camped. If the Rise actually goes mid against Malzahar, we have seen Kled mid before as well, so we really don't know. Let's assume that Rise actually goes mid against Malzahar, right? So both these laners are more akin to pushing, with Malzahar being uh, more in terms of shoving minions than Rise. So I think Karthus would want to counter gank because the way that he will initiate the ganks will not be effective against Malzahar, maybe because of because of the lack of CC, because of the lack of outright burst damage in the early game. So Sejuani will have to look for making more proactive plays while Karthus makes more reactive plays. And it really just goes down to each jungler's decision making as to which lane actually benefits them more if they get a kill onto the laner.
Do you foresee a level 1 invade happening? It looks like Morgana being there does give some agency to Lowkey Esports, but on the other side you have Tarek. If he starts stun, that's an AoE stun, that's a Shen level taunt, level 1 taunt if he chooses selected. Both the teams have a decent level 1, and I want to wait and see if we see some sort of invade happening, or will both teams just decide to play it slow and just fan out and not try to make for an invade. But
I
it
think I
would
would
be exciting to see one,
definitely
right?
I would definitely give that advantage to Lowkey Esports because of the Shen taunt, the Sejuani Q, and the Tarek stun. They have like 3 forms of CC at level 1, and I'm pretty sure that Stormraiders wouldn't want to actually get in their faces, in the faces of Lowkey Esports, I mean, because that fight has the chance of basically being snowballed against their favor. And I'm pretty sure both these teams except I think that both these teams will actually want to play it safe because remember, this is the first seed match and these teams do have a lot of respect for each other. So I'm not sure if anyone will want to take any risks this early in the game, but we don't know. We might actually see some action happening. Who knows?
Yep, just waiting for the reconnects to happen. VPNs are being used. This is but mandatory in all games. You want to make sure all the teams have all their, internet is fine, everything's connected. The resume call does happen, Red Bro. So hopefully we won't have to wait long before we see the game start. And this is going to be really exciting for me to potentially watch this game because a lot is on the line, and just the best teams from their respective clans
Right.
are playing, right? So
Yeah.
all matches are the first game also Retox gaming was Exile Spot was so much fun to watch, but Exile was the one who came out on top. Now between Stormraiders and Lowkey Esports, which team will come out on top today? Let's see the action, and it does look like an invade might not happen from the side of Lowkey Esports, but I think both teams just looking to find out. Yeah, so probably just
I
playing
think
it
we're
safe.
not in the same timer.
I'm at
in
28
the-
seconds, 29. I'll
Yeah,
stop there.
we're at the same timer. Yeah, I thought that someone had made a play because they were just getting out of base. I was like, wait, where are they going? What's happening?
I can
So, yeah.
see the future, Red Bro. That's what's happening. I predicted a Morgana flash Q fail or something, and then dying in the process. But his name matches, man. Red Bro, Intlord. He is one of the best players from Bangladesh. Intlord, Rusty did reach Grandmaster in the middle of the season. Sadly, fell down to Diamond 2 post that, but does play a lot of Morgana. Very comfortable on that champion, and it looks like there's going to be a red side invade happening.
Right, it looks like Lowkey Esports using their level 1 advantage to actually get some wards into Storm Raiders' jungle. One ward in the red buff, red Raptor side actually. That will give Sejuani a clear idea of where the Karthus is actually farming because, as you know, that when you're up against a control farming jungler, you have to know that where that jungler is so that you can possibly invade and kill him or actually set up a gank somewhere in the lane. So early wards deep in the enemy jungle, really good idea, especially at 55 seconds, as we do see both junglers starting out the blue buff, and yeah.
Yeah, and it does get responded by a ward of its own by Storm Raiders, as they have a ward on the Raptor side as well. And wow, I am a little blind here because apparently it's Kled in the mid lane and it's Rise in the top lane. And
Like I said, we did see some Kled in the mid lane going on in competitive before, and that's why I really didn't want to, focus too much on the fact that Rise was laning against the Malzahar.
yeah,
So
I
yeah,
know. I am blind because I legit for a reason thought it's Termi playing Rise mid, but no, it's actually Termi playing the Kled mid. And like this matchup, the Malzahar into the Kled is very interesting. I do feel Kled has an advantage once he gets level 3, but it's just very, very surprising to see this matchup as I have not really seen it being played out. So I'm curious to see how they make it work.
I think that when you're playing a Kled against a Malzahar, it does actually make sense if you have a jungler who can actually support you in the ganks. Like Kled is someone who can actually catch up to the immobile champion that Malzahar is, and then provide a lot of good setup for the ganks. However, you have a Karthus jungle who is not really known for going in and then CCing someone because all the CC that he has is that wall, and there's no guarantee that he's going to be able to land it. So really interesting pick coming up so far. I'm guessing the Kled will be able to help out greatly in the dragon skirmishes,
A
and
nice
meanwhile
binding
a
right
little bit
there.
of skirmishing going down in the bot lane. Caitlyn manages to Misfortune manages to sidestep every single trap that Caitlyn is doing. However, Ace Lord is actually coming in with a gank. Does land the Q onto Inflord. The stun goes out. Tarek's stun barely dodges. Inflord still hanging on. However, we do
Double
see the
teleports, Red
Kled
Bro.
is actually going in. And the Rise is
Stormraiders.
also following up. Kled gets first blood. And Stormraiders are going to clean up this bot lane right now.
That was such a beautiful play right there. Crixus and Intlord showing off their mechanics, surviving, sidestepping every sort of Caitlyn trap, and eventually are able to survive long enough for their solo laners to come teleport down bot lane. And suddenly, Red Bro, there's 3 and 0 kills with one of them going to each of the solo laners, and that's a great start. Stormraiders showing why they are the best team from the Mountain Clan with some really good synergy amongst each of their members, and that's just something that we have come to expect from Stormraiders. But every time we see it, it just makes us even more impressed that they have such good synergy amongst each other as teammates.
If I was the jungler for Stormraiders, I'd be really happy right now because my job as a counter ganker has been done by both my solo laners. That double TP in the bot lane really sending a message that no, we're not going to let you even get one kill onto our bot lane. We are not letting you get any sort of advantage in this sort of position, in terms of kills at least. Both laners willing to sacrifice that early game experience and gold to just help out their bot lane get more kills. And they did do that. The Misfortune got one, Kled got one, and Rise. So that disadvantage in terms of XP and gold, it is mitigated to some extent, but we do see Shen is out leveling Rise, which is promptly closed down by the Rise right now. However, in terms of XP, Shen is still ahead, I think.
He will catch up right now because Rise did make sure he pushed out his way before he teleported. Note that Ashe and Zhao Raven did not decide to use the teleport, so they still have it if they want to make a play later on in the game. But just the fact that they haven't used it means that Stormraiders will have to play a little bit safer, because if another fight happens, it's going to be Lowkey Esports who have teleports up right there. So they will just have to play it safe until their own teleports are back up. Meanwhile, Intlord
still going aggressive onto Willy Wonka. Actually, the Willy Wonka name actually goes with the Tarek skin right now. It actually looks like we have Willy Wonka playing in Summoner's Rift right now. And Karthus spots out a ward deep into his Krugs. They're really tracking where this jungler is going. And Sejuani, although that gank was botched in the bot lane, I was a bit perplexed as to how the laners of Lowkey Esports didn't respond with teleports of their own, because they had a numbers advantage in the bot lane if they did come up, 5 members versus 4. However, I think they just decided to play it safe and push out the lanes instead of going in for that early skirmish.
Yeah, they decided not to do it, which is what I'm waiting to see. How will they make use of it later on? Because if they just use it to get into lanes, or maybe they use it to get to level 6, which is what Shen is right now, as is the Malzahar, then maybe yes, they can make great work of it. But you can see already, Misfortune with the BF sword back is just pushing out the Caitlyn so hard at this point that they do not have a lot of response. And with bindings falling, you know what? We discussed about the teleport, Red Bull, the teleport is here.
Right, but in the top lane, there's action going on as well. LK Ashe did use the teleport, but here comes Termi with that Kled ultimate going in. Willy Wonka in a lot of trouble right now. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Ace Lord picks up a kill onto the Rise. And in the bot lane, we are also seeing a lot of action right now. Both the side lanes actually being the center of so many skirmishes right now.
That's a great fight, but it's actually Lowkey Esports who finally make use of the teleports to come out on top, and that's a huge wave crashing against Key to victory, so he will lose out on that. Meanwhile, Karthus is not even in the game because he's just looking to farm and get to level 6. He is not level 6 yet, but he is quite a bit ahead in terms of EXP right now. He's around half a level ahead. But honestly, I feel they're just waiting for Karthus level 6 before they look to do more things. But that definitely does push the momentum. Again, back slightly in favor of Lowkey Esports as they get a couple of good kills for themselves. And top lane also dies.
I would say that the Karthus is actually doing pretty fine compared to what it should have been in terms of presence, because the Sejuani has been in bot lane and in top lane. And the Karthus hasn't really pressured any of the lanes that much, and he actually does pick up a dragon for Stormraiders. So the plays made by Sejuani didn't really adversely affect the Karthus that much as it should have, because his solo laners were so in position to actually help them out, to actually scrounge back a lead. So yeah, Karthus is actually doing pretty well for himself,
Oh, that
despite
trade,
all that.
so in the top lane, Rice is having a difficult time, and this is sorry, Shen is having a difficult time. He misses the taunt. It could be another way for the Rice to do so much damage.
Promptly takes up few magical orbs in his face,
Yeah.
and just lives with a sliver of his HP.
He'll have to blow TP right now, otherwise he will lose out another 6 million wave for him. And does he do that is something we'll have to see. Does go for the Spectre Skull, that is good. Meanwhile, Dragoon, can he survive the Wolf Camp? And yes, he somehow does.
That was the most exciting thing in this entire match. The Wolf versus Karthus. Who will win? And Karthus reigns supreme.
That's the most action Dragoon has had this game. Is his fight against the Wolf Camp. But I think he's in a great position because his laners, like you rightly said, are doing the job for him. They still have themselves a nice 2000 goal lead against the best team from Sri Lanka at this point, and the bot lane also doing really well. Kled himself has gotten 2 kills, so they're in a great spot ahead in terms of CS and the solo laners as well. And
Trading going on between the AD carries, the supporters just being spectators to this brawl.
I'm so excited for 5v5s. I feel with both the compositions, with the Taric ult, with the Karthus ult, it really depends on how they execute it, who goes in, who goes out, who uses their ultimate when can, they make an impact, because it's going to be so fun. And Sri Lanka, like we said, loves playing around their ultimates on their Taric, so he can potentially mitigate a lot of damage if they do choose to use it the right way. And right now,
trying to go ham in every single opportunity that he can get, pushing Nightmare into his tower, and they're actually gaining control of this Tribush warding space over here. And Crixus and Intlord really doing work in the bot lane right now.
they do have accrued themselves a 17 CS lead and a 600 goal lead for Crixus in the bot lane. That one kill definitely helping him out as well. And that advantage will lead to a plating coming soon. So slowly and steadily, the laners of Stormraiders are having their advantage being shown purely because of the champions and how they're playing.
Both side lane players are actually opting to push really hard, but meanwhile, it might be a skirmish right now. Xiao Raven goes with the taunt to key to victory. Ascent is right there. Dark Dragoon is also there for the counter gank. Xiao Raven takes a lot of damage. Key to victory with the teleport. Will he go? He doesn't. Termi comes out with the ultimate as well, but nothing doing as both teams just kind of duke it out and disengage.
Yeah, the focus on the top side from Lowkey Esports is quite interesting, but if that's the second time his flash has been blown, then notice that Key to Victory is playing very aggressive as he loves to do so. And this time, however, Kled was there to save his top laner from dying, and game just resumes because both the top laners have now lost their flashes at this point. So the next gank that whoever lands is going to be crucial, and Xiao Raven does not
think
realize...
it's a dive. Stormraiders coming in. Karthus is tanking. That's not good, I think, but he does live with really little HP.
They made it work, but on the bot side, look at this. This is going to be difficult. Intlord in trouble, but the teleport is being used. Again, a lot of damage, and this is going to be Fury eventually looking to die. But will they make the comeback happen, Red Bros? The question as they
right
look
now,
to do
Termi
damage.
going in with the hook. Gets promptly taken off his steed. Will he actually die? The Karthus ultimate goes in. Not enough damage to kill the Caitlyn. Intlord almost in trouble. Has that spellbinding right there. But here comes Key to Victory. Will he be able to pick up the kill on Willy Wonka? The Shen top comes out to Key to Victory. And Key to Victory does take out Willy Wonka, but Shen takes out Rise. And the Ace Sword actually comes in with the ultimate that did not go through Morgana's spell shield. But that was too much damage for Morgana Intlord to actually weather, and he gets taken out promptly as well. So much action going on, but meanwhile, Dark Dragoon facing off against Xiao Raven will be probably collapsed with more members of Lowkey Esports. Termi trying to do some damage. He does get out with a flash.
Misfortune does
that's
not
a lot
have
of damage
ultimate.
going in. Termi, without his steed, actually going in right now. Crixus takes up another kill. Ace Lord might be in trouble if Crixus can actually chase, but actually gets out barely hanging on to the skin of his teeth.
What are these team fights, Red Bro? One after the other, another challenger appears, and every time they fight, I love how Lowkey Esports and Stormraiders just like trading back and forth, makes it for a very, very exciting game. And eventually, I would say that it's an even trade at the end of the day, but slightly might be in favor of Stormraiders as they look to get the plating themselves. And this led, though, going ham right now in the mid lane as well. And also just such a fun game to watch, honestly. Like, with both the teams just going and giving it their all, and have so much abilities and agency to do it with the Malzahar, with the Shen, with the double teleports, with the Rise, with the Kled. It's so fun to watch this game right now.
There's so much action going on that I actually got lost while I was commentating commentating all the small skirmishes happening around the bot lane. There was so much going on. Like every single time you think that the fight's over, a new team, a new member of Lowkey Esports or Stormraiders just joins the fray and does work. Meanwhile, Stormraiders, Xiao and Dragoon actually taking out this Rift Herald. Key to victory and Dragoon.
The key to victory, get themselves a herald again, and again the goal lead remains around 3,000 in favor of Storm Raiders. The rise is scaling. The Karthus has the second highest CS in the on the Storm Raiders side, and that's something that I feel worries me for Lowkey Esports. But the fact that the second dragon has been spawned, but the Rift Herald has been spawned top, so it's going to be a trade for some plating stop and the Rift Herald. Oh, never mind, the dragon is not spawned yet, so there's going to be some plating for top side, making sure that. Rice is the one who gets a lot of these things, and Morgana could be in trouble again.
Ace Lord actually getting caught out while catching Morgana, but the Taric ultimate does work to save him right there. Inflord actually has to burn the Zonius to actually go out, but there's a lot of damage comes out from Crixus. What an ultimate! But the Morgana blinding lands into Nightmare. This might be Curtis for him, and it is. The Karthus ult comes out. Will it be Curtis for Ace Lord as well? Karthus gets an ult kill finally in this game.
That's 3 for Z, or 1 I feel at the end of the day, or was
right now, key to victory versus Xiao Raven. Will Xiao Raven actually try to survive in this one? Uses the alcove to try and outplay him. This is an alcove dance right now. But key to victory might have enough damage to actually kill him and does take him out. Xiao Raven in a lot of trouble right now on this Shen. 1-2-2 against the Fed Rise, who's just pushing down his lane like crazy.
And a composition where the Rise scales, the Karthus scales, the fact that Storm Raiders are ahead 6,000 gold at 14 minutes right now is just a dominating performance for them. A great kudos to Lowkey Esports for honestly doing really well in rotations, but eventually just by a few like mechanical ability, they were able to get 3 kills. Fury with Crixus with his Misfortune ultimate was able to finish off a couple of kills, and the top lane deficit is becoming big as there is a difference of around 2,200 gold just from the Shen and the Rise, who already has finished his Archangel staff. He's also looking to finish his Rod of Ages soon.
Storm Raiders going into this mid game with a really good advantage right here, actually negating a lot of the advantages Lowkey could have had if they were even going into mid game because of their tankiness and everything. But right now, Storm Raiders have a lot of damage to actually take out this beefy comp that Lowkey is actually offering on the map, and it really looks like that Storm Raiders are in complete control of this game.
Yeah, and I really like how they have just focused bot. You notice how many fights have happened bot, but at the end of the day, it's Crixus who is still 10 CS ahead with a finished Essence Reaver at this point, who is very, very far ahead. And it's just not, even though the focus was from Lowkey Esports to come and gank bot to make plays happen, they still were not able to make the most of these things, as the next focus for Storm Raiders looks to be the mid lane tower, as that's going to be on the remaining key to victory.
Right now, Willy Wonka tried to engage on Key to Victory. I don't think Willy Wonka and Nightmare have enough damage to actually kill Key to Victory. He can actually 1v2 this lane quite easily, given the items that he has. Meanwhile, Lowkey Esports being pushed down at all fronts actually. Kled doing work in the top lane, and mid lane, the mid lane basically, Crixus and Intlord actually pushing down the Malzahar. And I'd have to give it to Termi right here, right now, to be honest, because that mid lane Kled, remember I mentioned that Kled can actually bounce down to bot lane and really aid in those skirmishes really well, and that is exactly what's happened. Termi really prioritized that bot lane very well.
It's almost as if this pickup was made for him, and he loves to roam as a champion. He's really good at being the team player that his team needs him to be, and Kled is a champion that allows for that agency for him to happen. And that's really great to see that coming out. And you can see a Mejais on that Dragoon. He doesn't think he's dying anymore, and he just built himself a Mejais.
Right now, Termi might be in actual trouble, but there goes the ult coming out from Rai. Xiao Raven in really big trouble right now, gets taken out again. And then Termi gets back on his steed. Is it hurt for Ace Lord? No, he has to flash away. And Willy Wonka actually takes a lot of damage in the bot lane from the Rise. Actually has to leave this tier 1 bot lane turret. And Storm Raiders really consolidating their position right now.
Now they are just completely dominating the series. The lanes, the side lanes are just losing massively. Try as they may, Lowkey Esports are just not able to out-damage a composition with the Karthus, also with 12 Magi stacks. And don't even forget, Rice got his tier stack completely at 15 minutes in the game. So he is doing a lot of damage already. It's not even late game Rice, but at 17 minutes at level 12, this guy is almost close to his late game prowess. So you can see good probably going to go back and complete an item as well. The mid lane tower still remains, and the mid lane player LK Ash, the only person not dead for Lowkey Esports. Does he have the right place to make it happen for his team? Because it's looking like it's going to be on him to make the plays.
There are way too many players for him to ult. He can only ult as one person, and that's basically what the odds are basically stacked against the Malzahar. If you as a Malzahar are in task of carrying against a team composition like Stormraiders, you are in for a world of hurt actually, because of all that engage, all that CC that they're coming up from the Morgana, from the Kled. Kled is basically one of those champions that are just really dominating the landscape right now, and the fact that he's 306, and look at the items that he has. He already has a Tiamat and a Black Cleaver with a Jorim's Fist as well. So he's going for that what's what it's called again?
Hydra, probably.
Titanic Hydra, yeah,
Could
exactly.
potentially
Titanic
also
Hydra.
go for the Sterax because wants survivability at this point. So we'll have to wait and see what that Jorim's Fist will convert into. But the next dragon is up, mind you, and it's going to be I don't see yet what dragon it is at this point, but it's going to be another dragon that they have to take, and it looks like it's going to be a cloud.
It's a cloud
drake.
drake. It's a cloud drake because of the fact that you have like little cloud patches that give you movement in the rift.
So 10% cooldown ultimate reduction is up for grabs. Both the teams have a drake apiece right now, so this is going to be an extremely point of contention, and the teleport has been used by Rise to come bot, and I think it's just going to be Stormraiders taking it all the way, and I don't even think Lowkey Esports want to contest this at this point. Redbrook,
They're just pushing down the mid lane right now to try and get some sort of damage onto the tower, but I'm not sure how effective that will be. Stormraiders picking up a very comfortable dragon right now, and yeah, I have to give credit to Stormraiders. The way they've systematically basically dismantled Lowkey Esports after building those advantages really shows how organized and structured their team play is. Like, you see that all the lanes are actually being pushed in. There's pressure coming in from all sides. They're contesting every single objective, and they actually, I think, took every single objective, save for that one dragon. So yeah, really good macro play coming out from Stormraiders in comparison to Lowkey Esports.
Yeah, and the Mikhail's Crucible has been built by Morgana to prevent the Taric or the Sejuani or the Shen taunts from happening. So just another way for that support Morgana to protect his carries, and it just makes life so hard for Lowkey Esports at this point, because even if they land an ability, it's not likely that they will get a kill out of it. And at this point, the only way that they can make plays happen is just to catch someone off the side lane, but they tried to do that with the Kled. Because of the dismount, he was able to survive long enough, and with the Karthus ultimate, they were able to not even get that in place. And I don't even think the Rise you can kill unless you send at least 3 people in the bottom of the map, but if you do that, then Stormers will just take that in. So at this point, the options for Lowkey Esports are just so limited that they are just reduced to farming under the towers.
Unless Stormraiders actually, go into a bad engage where they get CC locked like crazy by Lowkey Esports, I really don't see them losing any single fight right now, judging by how they're actually playing this. It's basically a slow choke death. They're just pushing in, contesting objectives, taking farm away from Lowkey's jungle. And yeah, it's just basically, they're just depriving them of resources, playing Scorcher tactics right here. As you can see, Intlord roaming freely in the enemy jungle, just letting off a few bindings here and there. And that is just testament. This just goes as testament to show you how dominating Stormraiders are right now.
Yeah, they really want that mid lane tower though, but the fact that there's just so much wave clear on the side with the Malzahar as well is just allowing Lowkey Esports to stall out the game a little further. Yes, there's an 8,000 gold lead at this point, and that's massively in favor, but it's not like Stormraiders can just do balance this point, unless of course they have a lot of vision. The Kled is looking to get his items. There's 2 completed items on the Rise, almost 2 completed items on the Misfortune, and pretty soon I think we will end up seeing a balance play happening, but they are waiting for the mid lane tower to go down first, which is the stronghold right now for Lowkey Esports. That mid lane tower is what's keeping them somehow alive in the game, because Stormraiders just cannot open the map completely without it. Yes, they are trying to ward out, but still, like, it opens up a lot for them, and it's this game is stalling out a bit right now, it looks like.
Yeah, but it looks like Stormraiders might be in for a flank onto the mid lane. Morgana and Karthus actually taking a position behind Caitlyn and...
Johnny could be in trouble right there. Oh, that's a missed E though.
But Termi actually has like a lot of damage. Xiao Raven comes in to support. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Nightmare gets taken. Probably out with that binding and that ultimate. That was a bit overkill, but they're just sending a message right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was a disconnect, but that was just Caitlyn just stood there to take the binding. And that's just probably going to be it. They wanted the mid lane tower, Edwin, with the fact that Caitlyn is now dead. That's going to be the mid lane tower. On the bot side, Ash has to be the one to respond to this really fed Malzahar, sorry, to really fed Rise at this point, and it doesn't bode well for Lowkey Esports. Like, they came up with a composition that wanted to play around bot side. They tried to do that, but Stormraiders, answered a teleport for a teleport. In fact, they were more proactive early, and this has allowed them to have almost an 8,000 gold in the game. And with bot mid lane going down as well, you could potentially see a Baron play happening really soon for Storm Raiders.
Right in the bot lane, when that double TP just came out, that was just a small advantage that Storm Raiders turned into a huge mountain of gold right now. As you can see that there's like an 8.9k gold difference coming in favor of Storm Raiders, so that's a lot of gold.
Yeah,
And
this
Caitlyn
is.
was DC in that last fight, so that's a bit unfortunate for Lowkey
I mean,
adding.
yeah, definitely unfortunate. She was throwing a Q and then she just stood right there, but sadly was not able to identify that. In any case, the game will look to resume a bit shortly, but this is a great showing from the Mountain Clan yet again. Number one seed having a very dominating performance, and Storm Raiders showing why they are the number one seed from the Mountain Clan. And it looks like Baron will definitely be on the cards, right, bro? As Caitlyn is dead for 30 seconds, and even with Ash there or Zawraven on the champions, it doesn't look like they have a lot of agency to stop that Baron, especially with Mordecai. So with the Karthus, and if the Rise joins them, there's a lot of damage that they can do the Baron very fast.
Yeah, Lowkey actually hinges a lot of their damage upon the Caitlyn, and if you don't have Nightmare up in that Baron fight in a 5v4, there is no way that Lowkey can actually out damage Storm Raiders more. They can't even out sustain them because of the fact that none of their members are that tanky enough that Storm Raiders can't really kill them or something. And as you said, as you've seen, Bishi, they did take that mid lane tower, and it does open up the map for a potential Baron while Rise pushes down the bot lane.
Yeah, this is textbook League of Legends right there. They got a kill, they have the teleport in the Rise with a lot of damage, and that's going to be a Baron uncontested. And look at how fast they're able to even take it. In fact, they don't take it as fast as I thought they would, because Dragoons take a lot of damage, but eventually can A-Slot come in for the steal. Morgana's there to dissuade that from happening, and that's going to be Baron going over to the Storm Raiders.
Right, and Dark Dragoon, even though we haven't seen any flashy plays from him, we can't undermine the fact that he's been really influential in this game because of the fact that he's been in those fights where he counter-ganked. He's been in those fights where he's used his Q and his W in the skirmishes, and the fact that he has that global ultimate to support his team whenever he needs, wherever he is across the map, and that's why you have the 500 goal shutdown onto the Karthus. Even though we didn't see a lot of proactive plays, a lot of good reactive plays sets up a lot of good things for that jungler. So
Yeah.
Dark Dragoon actually showing you how reactive jungling can actually turn a game in your favor as well in comparison to proactive jungling. Like, a lot of people think that proactiveness is good, but if you react well enough to someone's plays, it can net you even better results. It can net you equal results, if not better, as is the case here.
Yeah, and just look at the Flame Horizon CS gap in the top lane. It's 124 to 234. The Rise is just looking to farm at 23 minutes. Has a finished Morello Nomicon. If that Rise does not die in the first 3 seconds of a team fight, I think he will just literally outdamage anyone in the entire team right now. And you can see already Aesort has to go away. And this is going to be a simple split happening on the top side. You see Termi is there on the Clegg. I don't think the Shen can even respond to that. The minions are just doing a lot of damage themselves. Termi is trying to clear the wave so that the minions end up damaging the tower instead of the minions. And it looks like Dragoon is just going to solo Dragon at this point.
Yeah, 20% cooldown additive on to their normal cooldown, 20% cooldown on their ultimates. And yeah, Storm Raiders, they'll take it. They'll actually pick 2 dragons up from the Cloud Drake. That's a lot of that's a lot of cooldown reduction coming in from the ultimate. And that's like 20%, and you can actually do that right now. Termi getting flanked by Ace Lord and Chow Raven. Chow Raven and Ace Lord actually have a lot of damage right now. They can actually take down Termi. That's a huge shutdown going on to Ace Lord. Meanwhile, Trix is doing work in the mid lane. Actually, ults and forces the flash from LK Nightmare. The flash coming out from Crixus as well. One auto attack is enough, and he takes down the mid lane turret.
Yeah, it was a little too close right there, but they are still able to get the kill. And look at this.
Landing a beautiful binding with the Taric, withering the storm. Actually escapes with that little HP. I think it was just like 30 or 40. Meanwhile, Inflord gets ulted down. in beneath the turret by LKS. That was really good reactions coming in from the Malzahar. Getting that Morgana pin down in the ultimate, but Key to Victory actually rampaging down through the bot lane. Lowkey Esports have no answer for Key to Victory, even though have answers for Termian and basically Willy Wonka in Inflord.
Little too proactive right there, it looks like, but it's still very, very exciting to see that. Even after that, they still try to make some plays happen, but Stormraiders still get the inhibitor on the bot side of the map. The mid and the top inhibitors are still alive, and those shutdowns that they got on the Kled, and I don't think Morgana have a shutdown, but the fact they got a shutdown on the Kled is not bad for them. But still, the goal lead is still 12,000 in favor of Stormraiders at this point, and it's just looking like they will look to back off. Baron might not be up for them while they come back from the siege, so it's going to be another waiting game, I think, till the next Baron, and then they look to close out the game.
But judging by the fact that it's only 26 minutes and Rise has already completed 3 items at the boots and has a needlessly large rod, he has already hit critical mass. And he can actually 1v5 the LK team right now, provided he doesn't get CC locked. And that is a really scary thing to face off against. You put that Rise in a solo lane to push down. They're going to need like 3 or 4 members to stop him. I don't know if that'll be even enough to actually stop this Rise from pushing. He might just escape with the teleport away. But that's a lot of good pressure soaking ability that Stormraiders have, and they're going to play around this. They did do that right now. In the past 5 minutes when they were getting killed in the mid lane and the top lane, the Rise just rampaging through the bot lane. They're just going to do the same thing for top lane when the dragon actually comes up and try to secure the dragon soul.
Rise steals away the red buff, right, bro? Just when you putting salt on the wounds at this point, Caitlyn couldn't even get her own red buff. And I think he's going to go to bot lane. He has teleport if he wants to join in team fights, and I feel Misfortune and Morgana will look to complete the mid lane in the turret. And
Rise is actually taking out every single jungle camp.
Yeah, he's not allowing Sejuani to farm her own jungle.
That's just painful for a jungler when another team's laner is just taking away your jungle camps. But here comes the Kled, but Dark Dragoon with a really nice flank onto Xiao Reven. Termi actually has to flash away from 4 members of LK, but the ultimate comes out. Let's see how much damage it deals. It does chunk Caitlyn, but not enough to kill her.
But that does mean they will get the tower back in return. So that's going to be another tower going down, and Kled goes in the top lane to get the last tower. So all the 3 inhibitors are down, Red Bro.
All the inhibitors are down, and that means double super minions being spawned in each lane. LK being choked out, Key to Victory being that insane amount of damage going out. Right now, LK with the last ditch attempt, Xiao Raven manages to zone out Crixus, but it might not be enough to actually do anything. Caitlyn gets taken out by Key to Victory, a lot of damage coming out to them. Termi zones out 2 members of LK. It's a massive stomp coming out from Stormraiders, but still, LK tries to do something about it. Key to Victory, this is the Q onto Ace Lord. That might have been curtains for him, but Stormraiders actually closing out a very comfortable game right now. Meanwhile, Xiao Raven tried to do something onto Crixus, but to no avail. Stormraiders picking up a very good game right there. After one advantage that they snowballed into a massive mountain of gold, they just kept on pressuring Lowkey into submission. They weren't relenting at all.
That's really a very, very strong performance coming out from Stormraiders right there. Even the Lowkey Esports did have a good composition, had shown some glimpses. It was Stormraiders all the way who kept winning in these advantages, and the Rise is getting massively fed, did not help them at all. The Kled mid pickup, roams were beautiful to dissuade the bot lane opportunity that Lowkey Esports were looking for, and rightly so. Stormraiders are the victors in this game as they take another lead. If you look at the damage charts, the Malzahar did as much as the Rise. So Ashe definitely being the shining light of Lowkey Esports, and if they want to look to win more games, they will look at their mid laner to do a lot more damage. Rise did match him a little bit. The Karth is also doing a lot of damage, and it was honestly a fantastic game. It is Mountain Clan who remain undefeated in the tournament thus far. So that's it for this game, guys. Stay tuned for the next game, which is going to be a cracking of a game between Exile Squad from the Infernal Clan and Stormraiders from the Mount Clan. So just stay tuned for a few minutes. We'll be back with a new game very shortly.